Just got done making you some soup, potato soup, and look at the bacon with fish, with bean, high protein, and we got it over here. Look at that. You get the first bite, I get the second. Show you how to do this step by step. Let's start by seasoning our fish. I'm gonna use some of that Tony's Creole, good kick mix. Tony's have that in it. That's why I love it. So we're gonna put that in there. Use about a teaspoon of that. Now for our lime juice, because we want to add a little citrus there. I have another surprise of citrus I'm gonna be using in this. So we're gonna put about 2 to 3 teaspoons of this because we want this to be bathing in this so it can soak while we're preparing the other parts of the meal. Now let's put in some black pepper. We're gonna put in another teaspoon of that. Teaspoon of our black pepper. Make sure that's in there. Gotta love that black pepper. Now for our salt, we want a couple pinches of salt, not too much. Probably about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now we need some soy sauce. I'm gonna put in about another teaspoon of soy sauce. This is the dark kind, salty, so we gotta be careful with that. So a teaspoon of that. Going with a little Asian flavor there. Now let's grab our garlic powder. We're gonna put in a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. A teaspoon will take us right in there. Now let's put in some onion powder. And I like McCormick because they make some very good blend of seasoning. Very, very good. Let's go ahead and put in a teaspoon of that as well too, of the McCormick onion powder. Now I told you I have a surprise for you. I'm gonna be using a tangerine in here, a full tangerine. Cut that. So watch your hand. Now I'm gonna hold my hand like this. I'm gonna gently squeeze it out. Catch any of my seeds. If you don't have a strainer, this is what you do. I do have a strainer, but I want to demonstrate to you how to do it. It's gonna add a little bit of sweet to it, and I am gonna add in about a teaspoon of sugar. Squeeze that in there. Now for my second half of my tangerine, I'm gonna squeeze that right in there, along with the lime juice, creating a little bit of citrus sweetness to our fish. Making a very beautiful meal. Put this aside in the trash. Like I said, this is a high protein meal that you're gonna love. It's gonna be good for building muscle, and I love soups. So check out some of my other soups that you're gonna see in my channel. And we got some sugar here, just a couple pinches of sugar, nothing major, just to add a little extra sweet flavor to it. Now let's work all of that flavor into our fish. And like I said, this is gonna be sitting. We're gonna let this sit for a good 30 minutes before we put it into our pot. We're gonna cook this all down with our potatoes, which I'll be doing next. So continuously working this in. As you can tell, the juices are at the bottom with all the citrus that I added in there with the lime and the tangerine. That's gonna add a lot of flavor there. So let's just roll that around. Roll it around into the pan. Let all those juices work itself into our fish. And I'm using pollock right now. And I'm also gonna make a fish sandwich soon, so be on the lookout for that. But this is our high protein potato soup, and this is part of the protein, along with our red beans, very high in protein. But I'm adding in the fish in there. So let's go ahead and push this aside and start on peeling our potatoes. Let's answer the question, what makes this meal a high protein potato soup? Look at all my potatoes here. I've got a ton of potatoes over here. You've got the red ones, and I've got the rustic ones, which I'm gonna make a potato salad out of, and they've all been washed. I have some carrots from the garden. Of course, gardens have their little deformities, but these are really good carrots. And of course, I have bacon here as well too. I'm gonna fry that down to get the bacon fat into the meal before we get going. And of course, I have my fish here that I am let marinate that we first started out with. Look what that looked like. They're softening up, and they are actually, it's blending in, and its juices are going to be all in that fish. So this is going to be amazing. Last but not least, we have beans. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil as well too. So, and 3 eggs. But let's go ahead and start peeling our potatoes. Just enough to get it, just dice them up into small. But I don't want the skin taste to be in our soup. So I'm gonna peel this up and dice these into 4s, because the small ones I'm gonna dice into 4s, and the bigger ones I'm gonna dice them into 8s. So let's continue peeling that. Then I'm gonna dice this up. Just get all that off of there. We go ahead and start cutting this up. Let's cut up my final potato. Like I said, I'm gonna roll on into my bacon, cut those into smaller strips. Let's put those over there. Let's grab our bacon. Now we're gonna cut these into smaller strips. And bacon can be stringy, so I'm gonna cut those bacon into smaller strips. So we fry those down. They're manageable, and they are in our soup. So about that big, that's what you need. Cut them a little bit more. Cut one more time in between. I'm going to start with this in the pot first. Add in a couple of seasonings with some butter or olive oil, whatever which one. I think I'm going to use olive oil. This is more healthy. This is more of a healthy, high protein meal. So now I'm going to use my box scraper, my bench scraper. Grab those, put those into the pan. Now remember, you got to clean this up, but this board is going to go away. Let's put in our bacon. Grab my spatula, loosen up all those pieces of bacon, and all that browning on the bottom, that's flavor. Now let's add in some extra virgin olive oil, just to make sure we have some oil in there. And this, like I said, is what's going to add in the flavor for us. We want that flavor early in there. Turn the heat down just a little bit. We're going to start adding in some more seasoning. Some of that Tony. I'm going to do 1/4 this time, not a full teaspoon. I'm going to add some bay leaves here. Sprinkle that in there. Now I can do a teaspoon of this because this is not a super high salt base. Right, so let it on a little bit of low heat, let that all fry around. Now for my salt, this is a very small pinch of salt because we already put salt in the fish, so you don't want to put too much in here. Put a little bit, a couple pinches of it. That's all you need. All right, so let's bring up the heat a little bit more. Now we can start putting in our onion powder. I'm gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon in here. Garlic powder, you can use garlic powder or you can use minced garlic. I do have both, but I'm gonna just use garlic powder for this. Another teaspoon of that. Let that cook. And all that browning is just great flavor. Now let's get some parsley flakes in there. Sprinkle that in there. About a tablespoon in there as well too. All this is going to be in the soup. You're going to smell it all in the soup. Add a little more oil. It's getting kind of sticky now. Bacon does give off some fat, but I'm really using it for flavor more than anything else. And look at that. That bacon is just doing exactly what we want it to do. Giving us that flavor. Add a little bit of lime juice, citrusy lime juice. And if you've watched my channel, you know I love lime. Turn that down. Ooh, and that smell is coming up. Let's check out our bacon. Oh, almost ready. Tastes good too. Now let's go ahead and add in our fish. Let that in there. Beautiful. Now let's work our fish in there. Turn the temperature back up. When it gets softer, we're gonna break this up. Now that bacon and the fish, surf and turf. Now, if you don't like pork bacon, you can use turkey bacon. So if that's your preference, remember, you can use that as well too. And look, all the juices from the fish, they're all cooking down as well too. Like I said, it's gonna add a lot of flavor to our soup. When we add these potatoes in, it's gonna be awesome. Now it's time for some thyme. I'm gonna put a second batch of thyme, but this is to add flavor right now. Just drop some thyme in there. And thyme has such an amazing smell. How about 4 of those leaves? Let's rest that over there. Add these fish, almost said chicken. Fish cooked down. All right, so we're gonna cook that in there. And as soon as it gets to a point, I'm gonna add in my chicken broth and 1/2 cup of water. Then we start adding our beans and everything else. So we let that all cook together and blend. That's our juices, that's our flavor we're working on right now. Keep letting those pollock cook a little bit. Let that fish taste get in there. That's what we want. And the thyme as well too. So I'm gonna take my thyme, move them out of there right now. Get them out of our dish. When you have them there for flavor for a short time, I keep saying time and time. Okay, let's put those thyme in there. And any of the leaves that are in there, that's our flavor. Now what we want to do is add in our carrots, potatoes in there. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and add in our chicken broth. And we're gonna put another bit of flavor in there. Keep that in there. There's our water. Get it all in there. Before I add on my cover, I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of this. Let's go ahead and put that in there. About a teaspoon. That's gonna add some kick to it. If you had cayenne pepper, it does the same thing. That gives a little bit of a sting to it, but that's really good. So we stir that around and look at our fish there. Our bacon, everything's ready. Now, let's put on our cover. Let that cook for about 30 minutes. Let's check out our pot. Ooh, and we are broiling right now. That's what we want to see. This is beautiful. The fish and the beans. And as my dad would say, you do not want to mash up fish or crush the fish. You don't want to destroy your fish. So I'm not doing that, but I'm moving around just a little bit. You can see some of that bacon in there. So I grab a little bit of thyme here, let it drop in there to add a little more flavor. All right, so let's cover this back up and give it another, let's say another 15 minutes. We'll be ready to serve and do a taste test. Time for a check. And we are broiling. It's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna give it 5 extra minutes. I think this is ready right now. I'm almost 100% sure. Look at that. Look how yummy that looks already. Check that out. All those beans. And we have our bacon right there. Let's check our, see if my potato is done. Let's put it beside the body of the pot. And if it breaks, we're ready. Start getting one on there. It's ready. So let's put that back in there. Let this cook just about another minute or so. Let's dig for our fish. And our fish are all through there. So we're gonna have a nice, very yummy meal in a second here. Here's my fish. Now I'm gonna test my fish. Just a second. Drain some of that. Let's test our fish. And it breaks really good. Tender. Fish, well seasoned, very, very good. Okay, now let's lower our heat. Now let's go ahead and test this out. Turn off our heat. I'm gonna scoop some of that up. Put that into a bowl. See the fish right there. Get some of the juices with the carrots. Put that right in there. Grab some of that sauce. And so we say grace. Go ahead and take that out. It was pretty hot. But you know, you get the first bite. I get the second. Very delicious. You're gonna love this one if you try it. Let me know down in the comments if you tried the way I do potato soup. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out more of my videos somewhere around here. And I'll check you on the next one.